Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. We seem to be on this sort of continued trend of every couple of days, every week or so, we're getting some new leaks, some new rumors on Modern Warfare 2. And this week, the story is no different. We got some brand new gameplay leaks, aka information about gameplay surfacing around the internet. We also have some very interesting information on a new Verdansk map, but it's probably not what you're thinking when I say that. So as we get into everything today, if you enjoy the video at any point, let me know by dropping a like on it, would be seriously appreciated. And of course, if you're new here or if you have not already subscribed, every day I got you covered with all things going on in COD. So feel free to hit that sub button, turn on those post notifications. That way you'll always know whenever I post a new video. And also right now, my Gamer Advantage discount code IMMORTAL is actually going to get you 20% off your entire order instead of the normal 10%. So now is quite literally the best possible time to pick up a pair of glasses. If you're interested, link will be down below. So as always, you guys hear the spiel every single time that we talk about the leaks, the rumors. This stuff is all subject to change. Nothing is 100% official. Nothing is confirmed until Infinity Ward, Activision, or Call of Duty say something publicly, put it in a trailer, put it in a blog post, yada, yada, yada. So take all this with a grain of salt. This could all very easily change, especially since we're still so far out from launch. But today the info is primarily stemming from the Ghost of Hope. He is, a pretty prominent data miner and leaker in the community, talks about some insider information here and there. And getting right into it, like I said, pretty much all these leaks revolve around gameplay mechanics and gameplay elements. The first thing he says is that Modern Warfare 2 is going to change how players approach picking their perks on their classes, which is something we really haven't seen much innovation to in quite some time. Essentially what he says in a not super detailed way is that instead of the typical 3 perks that we see in COD, you're going to be able to choose 4 perks, but we still only have 3 perk tiers, perk 1, perk 2, perk 3. He basically said that you could get 2 perks from perk 1, 1 perk from perk 2, and 1 perk from perk 3. And perk 1 is primarily about your playstyle and how you want to go about, actually engaging in gameplay. So could be a very interesting dynamic depending on just how powerful the perks are in perk 1. And obviously that'd be the only area you could actually grab 2 perks from. So could be a pretty cool thing, but obviously it's hard to say because we don't know any of the perks. Now, the next bit of information that Ghost talked about is probably the most controversial of the day. He said that Last Stand is currently in Modern Warfare 2 and it functions as a field upgrade instead of a perk like we saw before. Oh, Last Stand. If you played back in the OG MW days, we all know just how annoying it was to get a kill on somebody, but then they go into Last Stand and they got the pistol out. Now, that said, I don't think it's nearly as annoying as Dead Man's Hand was back in, I believe, MW3, but still, Last Stand, not really a fan. We all know the famous Robert Bowling quote there. Hopefully this gets changed. I know Ghost of Hope also mentioned, I'm hoping that this gets some criticism and it gets updated because I don't think many players want to see Last Stand return. It's kind of a cheesy function. If it does, though, I would not be surprised at all if in Warzone 2, if you got knocked, you had the chance to pull out a pistol if you had this perk equipped. That, on the other hand, could provide, an actual meaningful perk to want to go after and use on one of your loadouts if that's the case. But overall in multiplayer, I'm hoping we don't see that. Moving on, this is another pretty interesting piece of gameplay info. Ghost said that there are currently no sprint to fire times in Modern Warfare 2 or with the guns because you can actually sprint while you're aiming down sights, which is a very interesting mechanic. And when I first read that, I thought that is going to be kind of busted. I mean, it definitely would speed up the pace of the game. This would be a very, very fast-paced Call of Duty if you could go full-on sprint while also aiming down sights. Now, if that's the case, I would hope that there'd be some, checks and balances in place there, where if you aim down sights and just walked forward or straight left to right, you're not going to notice that much visual bounce or recoil. But if you're going full-on sprint while aiming down sights, there should be a lot of visual bounce, even if you're on, affected FOV, 120 FOV. There also should probably be more recoil as well. Realistically speaking, that just seems like that'd be the smartest and most realistic way to play that, right? So that could really change things up. Obviously, that would completely change the dynamic of how you want to build certain weapons. If you just wanted to solely focus on constantly ADSing while sprinting, you could go all out on other attachments rather than having to focus on getting a good sprint to fire aspect on, an SMG, for instance. Probably one of the more surprising elements we've heard of so far. Again, could very easily change over the course of the coming months. Maybe we see it in the eventual beta and we just don't like how it plays and they take it out. Things could definitely change here, but certainly a surprise to say the least. Now, we've talked a lot in the past about the minimap. It's obviously a very important function in the game, and players have been very curious as to how it's going to work this year because we've seen different iterations in the past 3 years. Modern Warfare 2019 obviously had this new minimap where red dots didn't show up when you shot an unsuppressed weapon. Players weren't really a huge fan of that. Some players were, but it seemed like the vocal majority were not too thrilled with that just because it does kind of promote camping. A lot of players like the aspect of having it be suppressors hide you on the map, and if you don't run that, you're going to show up, and that's something you got to live with. Personally, that's how I prefer it. Cold War obviously had the more classic minimap where if you shot an unsuppressed weapon, you'd be showing up. Then with Vanguard, you don't necessarily have to run suppressors to stay off the map. You could run something like Subsonic, and that'll do the job too. So different ways to go about it, but according to Hope and his tweets, he did say that the classic minimap is currently present in Modern Warfare 2, meaning if you shoot an unsuppressed weapon, your red dot will show up. Hopefully it stays that way. I would imagine that once again, when we get to the alpha or beta stages, when we can actually play the game and give our feedback on it, it'll be different iterations of the minimap to see what we like the best, just to test the waters a little bit. I'm hoping though, no pun intended, that we do see the return of the classic minimap. Then the last main Modern Warfare 2 base leak that we got before we talk a little bit about Verdansk is the fact that Ghost says that Dolphin Diving is actually going to be in Modern Warfare 2 alongside sliding. I believe the way that he described it is that if you were to hold your crouch button or your prone button, then you would dolphin dive just like you did back in Black Ops. However, if you were to just simply tap your crouch button or your prone button while you were running, then you would slide. This is something that if it stays in that configuration, I absolutely guarantee I'll be accidentally dolphin diving all over the place for sure when I'm trying to slide cancel. But it would be a very interesting dynamic to gameplay, having both elements in the game alongside one another, because that's not really something we've seen before. And also, dolphin diving is not something we really see ever in Modern Warfare. And if that translates to Warzone, that also could be very interesting as well. So a lot of very peculiar gameplay leaks today. Certainly some things that I was not expecting to hear, some more controversial things you could say, but all pretty interesting nonetheless. Now, Verdansk. We've all been talking about over the past couple of months, will it ever actually return to Warzone? At this point, we still have no idea, and we don't really have any new information as to whether or not it'll ever be coming back to Warzone. But the other day, we did get the announcement that Call of Duty Mobile Warzone is going to be a thing. And in this initial reveal blog, they showed us an image which I believe is still a concept image, but you can clearly see that in the background we have this new map that we haven't seen before, but the buildings we have. It is various buildings that we had back on Verdansk actually. We're talking the police stations, some of the different huts, some of the house designs are the exact same as they were on Verdansk. And Hope actually tweeted saying, Verdansk on Warzone Mobile is not the same Verdansk that we played before on, original Warzone on PC and console. It's a mashup of certain points of interest, but also new points of interest. So apparently he's seen it. Unfortunately, we don't really get any info on that. But this would mean that we're getting a new Verdansk map for Warzone Mobile. Now, there's no telling if it'll be incorporated into Warzone 2 or even this Warzone later on into the future. We truly have no idea, but this would, in theory, be the return of Verdansk, just in a way that I don't think anyone ever actually thought would happen. Like I said back when we talked about the initial announcement and reveal of Warzone Mobile, I don't think we're going to see this in the relatively near future. I'd imagine that Warzone 2 is going to release before Warzone Mobile does, but at the same time, it is interesting that Verdansk could be coming back with that. I'm still hoping that maybe Raven finally says, you know what, all right, we get that some players aren't really huge fans of Caldera. We'll bring Verdansk back as an LTM every now and then. I think that'd be super cool. Obviously, the most ideal situation would be to have them on rotation, Caldera 1 week, Verdansk the next, Caldera, Verdansk, back and forth. I don't think that's super realistic because I do think they want to keep, Caldera being the main map, but I would love to see Verdansk return at some point in time, just for the nostalgia, just for the throwback. Will it ever happen? Who knows? But it does seem like we could be getting a new Verdansk map with Warzone Mobile. All that said though, those are all the new leaks and rumors about Modern Warfare 2 and the future of Warzone. And that's going to wrap things up for today. If you enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. And of course, if you're new here or if you have not already subscribed, every day I got you covered with all things going on in COD. News, updates, loadouts, tips, you're going to find it all right here. So feel free to subscribe with those notifications turned on. As always, if you want to check out any of my partners, be sure to use code IMMORTAL for a discount on all Scuff, G Fuel, Gamer Advantage, and Control Freak products, and the links for all those can be found down in the description below. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.